Listen closely, because what you are about to hear is no accident. Your presence here, right at this moment, is part of a divine orchestration that defies ordinary understanding. God is whispering a message into your heart. Love and prosperity are right at your door, gently knocking, waiting for you to open it. This isn't just another video, and these words are not mere coincidences. They carry an energy that is meant to awaken your spirit, reminding you that there is far more within you than you have ever imagined. You may have felt alone in your struggles. Perhaps you've questioned when true love will find you, or whether prosperity will ever become your reality. You might have wondered if anybody truly hears your prayers and your cries in the dark of night. Let me assure you that every tear has been counted, every plea has been heard, and none of your efforts have gone unseen. There is a divine presence actively moving in your life right now, shifting the atmosphere around you. You are standing on the brink of a transformation that will make every disappointment, every heartbreak, and every setback feel like distant memories. Today, you are invited to open a new chapter. A chapter where love isn't just a distant dream, but a daily reality, and where prosperity isn't just money in the bank or material possessions, but an overflowing sense of peace, purpose, and abundance that touches every corner of your life. This message is not simply for those who've always had faith. It's for anyone who dares to believe that the impossible can happen. If you are here, then something inside you is ready. Ready to step beyond the walls of fear and into a realm where hope is more than a fantasy, where love is not just a wish but a promise, and where prosperity is not for a select few, but a gift available to you as well. Before we venture deeper, let's do something extraordinary together. If you feel even the smallest stirring in your soul, a sense that these words are meant for you, take a brief pause. Click the like button on this video, subscribe if you haven't yet, and most importantly, leave a comment with the number 777. This is more than just an online gesture. It is a symbolic act, a sign that you are stepping into alignment with the blessings God is pouring out. The number 777 carries an energy of divine completeness, a nod from the heavens that miracles are not just possible, they are inevitable when you open yourself to receive them. Imagine standing at the threshold of a grand doorway. On the other side lies love in its purest form, love that heals and uplifts, the kind of love that doesn't crumble under pressure but grows deeper and more nurturing with each test. Waiting there too is the essence of prosperity, a sense of well-being and fullness that extends beyond finances. Yes, wealth can be part of it, because God doesn't delight in your lack, but prosperity in the truest sense means walking with peace of mind, clarity of heart, and the resources you need to fulfill your calling on this earth. It's time for you to step forward and open that door. For too long you may have let doubt keep it locked. Maybe life's disappointments convinced you that only others are favored, that only others get to experience the rapture of fulfilled promises. But God is not limited by your past experiences or your present struggles. All it takes is a shift in your spirit, a moment of surrender, a spark of faith. You don't need to figure everything out. You just need to be willing to say, I am ready to receive whatever heaven has in store for me. Throughout history, we have countless stories of people who stood on the edge of breakthrough without even knowing it. Think about someone like Ruth in biblical times. She lost almost everything, but by stepping out in faith, she stumbled right into a destiny bursting with favor and unexpected blessings. Or consider those who have seen their entire lives turned around simply because they took one courageous step outside their comfort zone. In the same way, your faith, no matter how small it feels right now, can unlock an outpouring of grace. See, love is knocking, asking you to let it in. Maybe you've closed your heart off to protect yourself from hurt. The walls you built might feel like safety, but they can also become prison bars, keeping you from the best that God has designed for you. True love, in all its forms, romantic love, friendship, family, community, can only flow where there is openness and trust. As you dare to open your heart, you'll find that the love set aside for you is far greater than any pain you've endured. The broken chapters of the past don't get the final say. Instead, they become part of a testimony that lifts others out of the darkness you once knew so well. Prosperity is knocking too, beckoning you to see beyond a paycheck or a goal in your bank account. It's an invitation to embrace a mindset of sufficiency and gratitude. There's a divine equation at work here. The more you align with God's goodness, the more your life becomes a magnet for abundance. That abundance can manifest in the form of new opportunities, restored relationships, or fresh ideas that spark breakthroughs you never thought possible. Prosperity is less about chasing money and more about standing in the flow of divine favor, letting blessings follow you instead of you running after them. But sometimes we hesitate at the doorstep. Perhaps you feel unworthy or unprepared. Maybe life has taught you to keep your expectations low so you won't be disappointed again. I want you to hear this as clearly as possible. God's capacity to bless you far exceeds your capacity to mess things up. Your worthiness doesn't come from your flawless track record. It comes from the unconditional love and grace that God pours out freely. This grace sees your flaws and redeems them, transforms them, uses them as stepping stones toward a greater purpose. If you are hearing these words, it's because there is a calling on your life that goes beyond the ordinary. You're not here just to scrape by, to survive, or to settle. You are meant to thrive, to be a beacon of hope, to share kindness in a world often parched of genuine compassion. You are called to be a living example of how a heart that is open to God can overflow with miracles. That openness starts in simple ways, through daily gratitude, acts of generosity, and most powerfully, through the act of believing that good things are coming. The world might try to tell you that cynicism is wisdom, that doubt is more realistic than hope. But consider how many incredible innovations, life-changing discoveries, and great leaps of faith would have been snuffed out if the dreamers and believers had let doubt rule their hearts. Faith isn't foolishness. It's the fuel that allows you to see beyond what is to what could be. And that, dear friend, is exactly what heaven wants you to grasp right now. This is the moment to remove whatever barricade stands between you and that door. Maybe it's a memory of heartbreak, maybe it's a belief that you can't succeed, or maybe it's just a deep-rooted fear that God's promises are for everybody except you. Today, let those walls crumble. Release the idea that you have to do it all on your own. Sometimes the greatest breakthroughs come the instant we admit we can't do it by ourselves. And that's precisely when grace steps in, filling the gap and bringing forth miracles. Feel the stir in your spirit as you listen to these words. It's that unspoken voice inside you saying, yes, there's more for me than I've been living. Yes, I'm done letting fear hold me back. Yes, I want the love and the prosperity that my heart has quietly yearned for. That voice is the echo of the divine within you, a reminder that you carry the spark of God's own creative force. When you let that spark glow unhindered, watch how quickly shadows flee from your life. There will be moments that test your resolve. Even as you decide to open the door, challenges may arise. You might face discouragement or meet people who doubt you. That's normal. Every major turnaround comes with moments that tempt you to go back. Don't let temporary discomfort make you miss out on permanent blessings. Imagine if you gave up right before the miracle happened. How heartbreaking would it be to look back and see how close you actually were? In this journey, vulnerability is often the key to unlocking deeper love. You have to let your guard down, even at the risk of being hurt, because love without vulnerability is like a seed on hard ground. It can't take root, but once you risk it, Once you allow your heart to be open, you discover that genuine love always finds its way to a willing soul. Yes, you might have scars, but scars do not disqualify you from the blessings that are meant for you. In many ways, they qualify you even more because they show you have survived, learned, and grown stronger. When it comes to prosperity, don't get caught up thinking that it belongs only to a certain kind of person, maybe someone with a better background or more education, or luckier breaks. God's storehouse of riches is not limited to an elite group. True prosperity is universal in its invitation, yet personal in its manifestation. It might come as a fresh sense of purpose at your job, an unexpected financial door swinging wide open, or a relationship that provides you with the support to chase your boldest dreams. Pause and consider the magnitude of what's possible. Beyond the everyday bustle, beyond the routine obligations, there's a realm where the extraordinary becomes normal. Many people get a glimpse of that realm in their dreams, but wake up convinced it was just fantasy. What if that realm is more real than you think? What if God is steadily inviting you to dwell there, not just as an occasional visitor, but as a permanent resident of faith, love, and overflowing provision? Open yourself to the realization that you are not alone in this quest. Heaven's armies are positioned on your behalf, orchestrating chance encounters, opening roads you didn't know existed, and softening hearts in places where you never thought compassion could thrive. You might call it coincidence, but in the realm of the Spirit, coincidence is another name for God's hands at work. Every time you see a door open where there was only a wall, that's a whisper of divine involvement. There is a powerful reason we asked you to comment 777. That simple act was more than an online interaction. It was a stamp of agreement with the heavenly realm. It was your way of saying, I'm in. I dare to hope. I dare to believe. As you do so, don't be surprised if you start noticing subtle shifts around you. People showing up with help when you least expect it, solutions to problems that previously felt insurmountable, or even a fresh wave of peace in the middle of a storm. Peace itself is one of the highest forms of prosperity. It's an anchor that keeps you steady no matter the circumstances. When you walk with authentic peace, your decisions become clearer, your relationships deepen, and anxiety loses its power to dictate your steps. You begin to realize that real wealth is found not just in what you possess, but in who you are becoming in the process. Money can always come and go, but the richness of spirit you cultivate will guide and sustain you through every season. Let these words sink in. Love and prosperity are knocking. Open the door. It's both an invitation and a promise. The love that's meant for you is not out of reach, and the prosperity designed for your life is not a distant dream. They are closer than your breath, waiting on the other side of a threshold that only you can unlock. And unlock it you must, because no one else can open the door of your heart, your hope, your future, but you. If you're still hesitating, let me tell you, God's timing is perfect and your timing is now. There is a reason you're hearing this message at this precise crossroads in your life. There is a reason your heart feels this gentle tug, urging you to move forward. This is not a gimmick or a trick, it's a divine invitation, and you have every right to accept it. You have permission to receive good things. You have permission to outgrow your limitations and the old narratives that used to define you. When you step into the flow of love, you're not just receiving from one person or source, you're plugging into the ultimate wellspring of compassion and connection. You'll find that love blossoms in your friendships, your family ties, your romantic relationships, and even your relationship with yourself. You begin to radiate an energy that draws the right people, opportunities, and circumstances to you. God's love is transformative, turning a life of survival into a life of purpose. At the same time, when you embrace the gift of prosperity with humility and gratitude, you allow that blessing to bless others through you. You become a channel, a living vessel that carries hope to those around you. The more you give, the more you receive. That is the principle of kingdom economics. God's mathematics are unlike anything taught in worldly systems. Compassion multiplies your resources, generosity expands your influence, and gratitude increases your capacity for more. And so, dear soul, the door stands before you, waiting to be opened. It only requires a simple step of faith. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need the willingness to say yes. Yes to the love that heals. Yes to the prosperity that uplifts. Yes to the changes that might feel uncomfortable now, but are leading you to a brighter tomorrow. The best part is that you do not walk this path alone. The very God who breathed life into your being walks with you, guiding your footsteps, lighting your way. Feel that shift in the air, the sense that something monumental is unfolding. This is your moment of decision. Are you going to remain on the sidelines, letting fear chain you to old outcomes, or will you fling open the door and take hold of the blessings that have your name on them? All creation is watching, cheering for you to step forward, to claim the inheritance of grace that has been earmarked for your life since before time began. You are so much closer to breakthrough than you realize. Dare to see the extraordinary in your everyday. Dare to believe that the seeds of greatness are already inside you, waiting for the living water of faith to bring them to life. In every breath, you carry the essence of the divine. As you move forward, love will not just transform you, but also pour from you, enriching the people and places you touch. Prosperity will not just add to your storehouse, but will flow through you, affecting generations beyond what you can fathom now. Right where you stand, take a moment to whisper or affirm in your heart, "I am ready. I open the door." Close your eyes if you need to. Visualize that spiritual door swinging wide, and let the rays of divine light flood your space. Let every weight, every frustration, every doubt melt away under this new reality. Because once you choose to live in the realm of open doors, you never have to go back to the cramped confines of fear. Once you taste the sweetness of God's promises, settling for bitterness becomes unthinkable. Wherever you are, know that you are loved deeply, cherished fully, and supported completely. If you continue to feel the stirring in your heart, type 777 in the comments once again, reaffirming your commitment to walk this path of faith. Let it be your banner, your symbol of hope, your alignment with a higher purpose. Even if you do it trembling, do it anyway. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's walking forward despite it. Your tomorrow is bright. Hope is rising like the morning sun. Every day that you live under this open heaven of love and prosperity, you become living proof that God is not done performing miracles. You're part of a grand story, one that has twists and turns, triumphs and trials, but ends in overwhelming victory. Embrace it. Live it. Let your life sing of grace and compassion. And as you cross that threshold, you begin to sense the subtle electricity in the atmosphere, a feeling that something sacred is unfolding inside your chest, at the very center of your being. This is the point of alignment, where your deepest hopes merge with the divine intentions set in motion since the dawn of creation. Love is not only entering through the door you've opened, it's radiating from you, traveling through every word you speak and every step you take. In this sacred space, you understand that love was never a distant destination you had to scramble to reach. It was always present, waiting for you to recognize that it already lived within the chambers of your heart. What changes now is your willingness to let that love flow freely, unguarded, fearless, and unconditional. This free-flowing love spills over into every corner of your existence. People around you begin to notice how peace settles on you like a gentle mist, how your voice carries a quiet conviction, and how your eyes sparkle with a new kind of joy that can't be explained merely by life circumstances. This transformation does not mean that challenges have magically disappeared. Instead, they become smaller in your sight because the power working within you is so much greater than any obstacle in your path. Like a lighthouse piercing through fog, your new perspective illuminates the way, offering both direction and comfort to those who are drawn toward your beam of hope. As for prosperity, you'll find that it takes on forms you might never have associated with wealth. Suddenly, doors of insight swing open, gifting you with clarity on decisions that once felt impossibly tangled. You may wake up bursting with motivation to pursue a project you'd shelved long ago, or you might find that the once elusive solutions to problems at work or at home are now presenting themselves as if placed there by an invisible hand. Financial breakthroughs can indeed happen. Opportunities can arrive in your inbox or through a conversation you never anticipated. But these material blessings no longer define the totality of prosperity for you. Rather, they serve as outward signs of an inward shift. You begin to understand that true prosperity is a state of harmony, where your needs are met in abundance, where your calling aligns with your resources, and where your gratitude creates fertile ground for more blessings to manifest. In this aligned state, you might notice an interesting paradox. The more you let go of an obsessive need to chase after money, the more money seems to find you. The more you relinquish your fear of scarcity, the more you encounter proof that life is inherently abundant. Where previously you might have clung tightly to what little you had, you now experience the liberating power of generosity. Perhaps you donate to a cause that resonates with your heart, or you offer support to a friend in need, and in doing so you discover that giving does not diminish your storehouse, but actually expands it. You find yourself delighting in the act of blessing others, and in return the universe blesses you in ways big and small, reaffirming that no one ever grows poor by giving. As you grow in love and prosperity, old hurts and grievances may surface, triggered by the rising tide of blessings. It's almost as if the shadow cannot help but be highlighted when your inner light grows brighter. Yet instead of feeling overwhelmed by these echoes of pain, you greet them with compassion. Every wound you carry has a message. Every scar has shaped the person you are today. Rather than burying those wounds deeper, you hold them gently in the healing light of grace. You realize that forgiveness is not about excusing wrongdoing, but about freeing yourself from the chains of bitterness. It becomes easier to extend grace to those who have hurt you, because you see that harboring resentment only hinders your own flow of blessings. In releasing them, you release yourself to ascend further into the realms of love and peace. People might start asking, "What changed? Why do you seem so different?" And the simplest answer is that you chose to open the door. You chose to let the knocking of love and prosperity be answered, refusing to let fear or cynicism keep the bolts locked. The shift is subtle yet profound. It's like inviting fresh air into a room that's been closed off for too long. The atmosphere becomes lighter, the energy more vibrant, and those who step into your circle can sense the difference immediately. They might not have the language to describe what they feel, but they'll be drawn to it nonetheless. In your willingness to embrace blessings, you inadvertently grant others permission to do the same. As you journey deeper along this path, prayer or meditation may become an even greater delight than before. You find yourself craving moments of stillness, where you can commune with the divine presence that's guiding and reshaping your life. In those quiet intervals, you sense the gentle whisper of the Spirit, providing confirmations you used to strain to hear. A scripture, a phrase, a spontaneous insight can suddenly flood your heart with an inexplicable sense of being cared for and directed. These moments don't have to be spectacular. They can be as simple as sitting in silence, letting your thoughts settle, and feeling a warm assurance that you are precisely where you need to be. Along the way, your faith may be tested in unexpected ways, through disappointments, delays, or even betrayal. Yet each test becomes a tool for refinement, turning faith from a mere concept into a bedrock so sturdy that nothing can shake it. In times of doubt, you remember the door you opened and the presence that's accompanied you ever since. You recall that even the fiercest storms must eventually yield to the dawn. You hang on to the knowledge that you are never truly alone, that a loving force far greater than your comprehension sees your struggles and walks through them with you. In opening yourself to love, you discover that divine compassion has many facets. It may look like a renewed romance in a marriage that was close to disintegration, or like a fresh wave of kindness in your home that dissolves years of misunderstanding. It may appear as new friendships with people who challenge and inspire you, or as a sudden pull to reconcile with a family member from whom you've been estranged. These miracles of human connection become proof that genuine love is a healing balm powerful enough to mend even the deepest rifts. Where bitterness once sprouted, seeds of empathy now grow. Where unforgiveness once thrived, reconciliation quietly but mightily takes hold. In your professional or creative endeavors, you might see a similar phenomenon. With a heart freed from the shackles of anxiety and self-doubt, you become a channel for fresh ideas and innovative solutions. Co-workers or collaborators who once seemed resistant to your input now find themselves drawn to your clarity of vision. Projects that felt stuck begin to move forward with unexpected ease. Synchronicities pile up. Strangers connect you to resources you didn't know you needed. Timely information appears just as you require it, and a synergy builds around your efforts, as if orchestrated by invisible hands. The universe begins to look less like a chaotic collection of random events, and more like a grand tapestry in which every thread has its place, including yours. Even your physical well-being can shift. While not every ailment vanishes overnight, you may find yourself more motivated to care for your body through healthier choices, whether in diet, exercise, or stress management. The negative self-talk that once sabotaged your attempts at self-improvement loses much of its potency in the face of your renewed sense of purpose. Your body, mind, and spirit start to align in a dance of harmony, and this alignment generates a vitality that radiates outward. At times, you may second-guess this new reality, worried that it's too good to be true. In these moments, remember that doubt is simply the old mindset trying to reassert itself. Gently remind yourself of the countless ways life has been nudging you forward, how nothing truly valuable is gained without vulnerability, and how every significant breakthrough you've ever experienced arrived only after you opened your heart a bit wider than you thought you could. Like a river returning to its course, you'll find it increasingly natural to flow back into trust once you've tasted what living in alignment feels like. If you ever stumble, if a wave of fear washes over you, or if an unexpected setback rattles your newfound peace, do not despair. Healing and growth are seldom linear. The important thing is that you remember who walks beside you. The same force that brought you this far is committed to seeing you through. Step by step, breath by breath, you'll reclaim your footing, each time emerging even stronger than before. Let your stumbles remind you of your humanity, and let your recoveries remind you of divinity's faithful presence. Perhaps you're realizing by now that the knocking at your door was never meant to be a one-time encounter. Love and prosperity continue to knock anew each morning, each afternoon, each evening, asking, "Will you let me in today?" It's an ongoing partnership, a daily practice of choosing to embrace goodness over fear, gratitude over worry, compassion over judgment. With each new choice, you sink deeper into the riches of what it means to live a life guided by divine grace. One glorious side effect of this awakened state is how it elevates those around you. You won't have to preach or persuade. Your life itself becomes the sermon. When people see the wholeness that emanates from you, the calm determination in your eyes, they'll be curious about the source. They might ask for advice, or they might simply linger in your presence, soaking up the calmness that was once absent in their own souls. In these interactions, you have a unique opportunity to share a glimpse of what God can do when a heart is willing to open. You become a conduit for the very love and prosperity that transformed you. In addition, you might discover a new depth of empathy for those who remain stuck behind their own locked doors. Instead of judging them for their caution or despair, you recall your own seasons of doubt and how gentle mercy eased you into faith. As your empathy grows, so does your capacity to minister hope, even in the simplest ways, like a kind word or a listening ear. You realize that every heart, no matter how guarded, has a longing for love and fulfillment. Your compassion becomes a catalyst that helps them see that they too have a choice to make. As this journey unfolds, you begin to grasp that the blessings you receive are only the beginning. God's purpose in showering you with love and prosperity isn't merely to give you a comfortable life, though comfort often accompanies it, but to equip and position you to touch lives. The more you embrace your blessed state, the more you'll notice subtle calls to serve, to uplift, to go beyond the boundaries of your own immediate concerns. You might feel a pull toward a cause, a community, or a mission field you never considered before. And in stepping out, you'll see that blessings multiply when shared. Spiritual truths become tangible reality. The more love you give, the more your heart overflows. The more resources you pour out to others, the more your resources miraculously replenish. Even in the face of challenges like global uncertainties or cultural tensions, this unshakable foundation of divine love and prosperity makes you a pillar wherever you stand. You become someone who not only endures hardships, but also brings solace to others in the midst of chaos. Your very demeanor communicates that there is a higher law in effect, one that transcends social upheaval or economic downturns. This confidence is not arrogance. It's rooted in the certainty that goodness ultimately prevails. You live out the belief that darkness can never conquer light, and scarcity can never overshadow abundance, when hearts remain open. The ripple effect grows broader still. Your immediate circle of friends, family, and acquaintances begins to shift as they witness firsthand how a life surrendered to grace looks and feels. Some may initially scoff or envy what they do not understand, but over time, curiosity replaces skepticism. They see how you handle stress without crumbling, how forgiveness flows through you without strain, how generosity seems to come back to you multiplied. Even the hardest hearts cannot deny the authenticity of transformation when it stands living and breathing before them. Remember that each day is a fresh page in your unfolding narrative. The old chapters, however painful or disappointing, have already been written. Yet each morning you're offered a pen and a blank canvas on which to inscribe the continuing story of love and prosperity in your life. This is not merely poetry, it's reality. Your daily choices, what you believe, how you speak, how you treat yourself and others, are creating the tapestry that will one day be your legacy. Are you yourself? Are you yourself? In the quiet hours before the world awakens, or in the stillness of the night when everyone else sleeps, you can reaffirm the truth you've embraced. Love and prosperity are ever present, and you are a willing vessel for their expression. You may also find that the nature of your prayers shifts. Where once you pleaded for certain outcomes, you now pray with gratitude and expectation, thanking God in advance for blessings still unseen. This posture of thanksgiving amplifies your inner magnetism for all that is good. You become keenly aware of how words carry energy, how speaking life and positivity fosters an environment where miracles can flourish, while complaining or criticizing drains the atmosphere of hope. This realization might prompt you to guard your tongue, choosing words that lift rather than tear down, words that prophesy possibility rather than perpetuate pessimism. On some days, you might feel so filled with awe at how quickly your circumstances are changing that you wonder if it's all a dream. Yet your senses confirm that it's very real. You notice how your relationships, once fraught with tension or distance, are blossoming with warmth. You see your professional situation transforming, not necessarily because you're forcing it, but because you're aligning yourself with integrity and purpose. Opportunities you once chased now come looking for you, drawn by the clarity and confidence you exude. It's not arrogance, it's alignment with divine favor. At times you may shed tears of pure gratitude, because the goodness you're experiencing surpasses what you ever thought possible. In those instances, don't hold back. Let your heart express its wonder. Tears can be sacred, each drop a testament to how far you've come, how many walls you've torn down, and how deeply you're allowing yourself to be loved and blessed. Let every tear be a silent prayer of thanks, knowing that God cherishes each one as a precious offering. In these waves of gratitude, remember also the power of humility. This new life you're living isn't a product of your own merits or your own brilliance. It is grace, pure and simple. Humility keeps you from becoming self-righteous or judgmental. You recall what it felt like to be locked in doubt, to question whether blessings were for you or just for others. So, you meet every person on their journey with compassion. You don't push them. You simply show them through your life that there is another way, a way of love that leads to peace, and a way of gratitude that leads to plenty. Curiously, you'll also notice that the more you open to love and prosperity, the more your dreams expand. Goals you once believed were out of reach now feel attainable, not because you've become greedy, but because you sense no limit to God's creative power working through you. You start to dream bigger for your family, your community, and even your world. The audacity of your hope might surprise you, but it flows naturally from a heart that has witnessed what grace can do. You begin to imagine a life that not only satisfies your personal needs, but also contributes to a global tapestry of healing and unity. In these moments of daydreaming, you may receive visions or spark ideas that pull at your heart with an almost magnetic force. Trust them, write them down, pray over them, and watch as the universe begins to arrange circumstances, resources, and people to help bring them to fruition. This co-creative dance with the divine is one of the most exhilarating aspects of this journey. You're no longer a passive bystander in your story. You're an active participant, partnering with heaven to manifest love and abundance on earth. If at any point the magnitude of this call feels daunting, return to the simplicity of daily faithfulness. Water the seeds you've already planted, nurture the relationships that are blossoming. Maintain the prayerful posture that has carried you this far. Grand visions are built on small acts of devotion repeated over time. Each day that you remain consistent in love, consistent in gratitude, consistent in sharing your blessings, you add another brick to the fortress of faith that shelters and sustains you. Newfound blessings also bring new responsibilities. Your finances might increase, requiring you to steward them wisely. Relationships may deepen, demanding greater emotional availability and understanding. Doors to influence may open, calling you to use your voice for justice and encouragement. It is here that the lessons you've learned about humility, discernment, and compassion will prove invaluable. You realize that blessings are not just about your personal gain. They are tools for you to carry out your mission in service to others. With each elevation, you gain a broader view and a wider platform to share hope. While you navigate these responsibilities, remain anchored in the presence that first led you to open the door. Keep your devotional time sacred, protect your mental and emotional health, and surround yourself with people who support your growth. Trust your inner guidance when it signals that you need rest or recalibration. This path is not a race to burn yourself out. It's a marathon of purpose, and pacing yourself ensures that you can run it with joy and endurance. In the quieter moments, you may reflect on how far you've come from the initial knock you heard at the door of your heart. The swirl of transformation you've experienced serves as living proof that divine invitations, when answered, release a sequence of grace-filled events. You might recall times you almost didn't say yes, times you nearly let your fears talk you out of destiny. Yet here you stand, filled with a peace that can't be faked, a hope that can't be snuffed out. If you could go back, you would reassure your past self that it was indeed the right choice to open up. At this juncture, the sheer volume of blessings might tempt you to take them for granted. Fight that temptation by keeping a record of gratitude. It might be a journal, a note on your phone, or even a simple nightly reflection. Enumerate the ways love and prosperity showed up for you each day. By doing so, you guard your heart against complacency and keep the door wide open for continued miracles. Gratitude is the language of the heart that remains awake to wonder. It keeps you humble and receptive, always ready to receive and to share. This is not to say you'll never face challenges again. Life remains a dynamic unfolding of seasons, but now you face difficulties with a calm center, anchored in the knowledge that no storm can wash away the foundation you've built on divine love. Others might panic when thunder roars, but you recall how many thunderstorms you've already weathered, and how you emerged each time more radiant than before. This resilient faith is what sets you apart. It is what makes your testimony powerful enough to spark hope in others. As you continue to journey, you might start noticing patterns or numbers that appear more frequently in your daily life, like 777 or other meaningful signs. Some people call them synchronicities. Others see them as gentle winks from heaven. Whatever you call them, let them be reminders that the spiritual realm is actively engaged in your story, affirming your decisions and guiding you along the path. When such a sign appears, pause for a moment. Whisper a thank you. Let your heart smile in recognition of the invisible threads weaving your destiny together. The more you integrate love and prosperity into your being, the more you become a catalyst for others' breakthroughs. Mentoring opportunities might arise, or you might feel compelled to create platforms, whether online or in your local community, where people can share their struggles and victories. This impulse to serve grows naturally out of the abundance you now carry. You can't help but overflow. You find yourself cheering people on, championing their dreams and celebrating their successes as if they were your own. In this, your heart beats in harmony with God's heart, which is always for the upliftment and flourishing of every soul. In those moments when you give of yourself, your time, your words, your resources, you experience a depth of fulfillment that surpasses any fleeting pleasure. It's the joy of living in alignment with your higher purpose. In giving, you're not losing, you're aligning yourself even more closely with the divine flow. This is a secret the world often misses, that generosity is not a subtraction, but an amplification of what you already have. Each gift you offer becomes a seed that sprouts blessings in your life and in the lives of others. Pause for a second and picture the future you desire. A life where your relationships bloom with health, where your home is filled with peace and laughter, where your work is an outpouring of your soul's calling, and where your connection to the divine is as natural and vital as breathing. Now, realize that this future is not some distant fantasy. It's an unfolding reality, shaped day by day, moment by moment, by how you respond to the knocks of love and prosperity at your door. With every act of faith, every prayer of gratitude, and every gesture of kindness, you inch closer to that vision. Sometimes you might find your thoughts drifting to people you haven't met yet. New friends, new collaborators, even new mentors who will appear in due time. The tapestry of your life will continue weaving new threads of connection, each thread carrying its own color and texture. This network of relationships becomes another form of wealth, immeasurable in monetary terms, yet priceless in its capacity to enrich your journey. You notice that as your heart expands, so does your tribe. People who resonate with your energy, share your ideals, and support your quest to keep the door of blessings wide open. If sorrow knocks on your door in the midst of all this beauty, you won't be shattered. You'll feel the pain, because you are still human, but you'll also know that you are allowed to feel deeply without being consumed. Tears may flow, but you trust they will water the seeds of new life. You've learned by now that behind every trial lies a hidden blessing, that even in heartbreak, love is recalibrating your compass for a more radiant tomorrow. This resilience does not make you indifferent to suffering, it makes you compassionate with the wounded and wise in your own healing. As you round a corner in this path of revelation, you start to marvel at the subtle transformations in your character. Perhaps you used to be quick to anger, but now patience, though tested, emerges more often. Maybe you once held on to grudges, but now forgiveness comes more freely. Where once you were anxious about the future, you now find yourself strangely calm, even excited about the unknown. These changes are not happenstance. They're the fruit of divine love working on your inner soil, uprooting weeds of negativity and planting seeds of grace. And in the midst of this interior renovation, your sense of purpose crystallizes further. You see how your unique story, every twist, every triumph, every lesson positions you to serve in a special way. What once felt like random disappointments or scattered successes now aligns into a mosaic that makes perfect sense. The adversity you overcame becomes the wisdom you can pass on. The blessings you received become the resources you can share. You become a living tapestry, woven by the hand of God, intricately stitched with threads of love and prosperity that shine especially bright in the spots where darkness once was. Your dreams might expand beyond personal goals to visions of societal or global impact. You think about the bigger picture: environmental stewardship, social justice, healing for communities in turmoil, and wonder how your blessed life can touch such vast and complex needs. While the scope might seem overwhelming, you hold on to the truth that no act of goodness is ever wasted. Every ripple of love has the potential to become a wave. Maybe you mentor one child who grows up to be a leader. Maybe you plant one idea that sparks a transformative movement. The possibilities are infinite when love and prosperity guide your heart. Little by little, you stop underestimating the power of small acts done with great love. You see that a single candle can light countless others without losing any of its own flame. So you pour your heart into the everyday interactions, smiling at a weary stranger, offering encouragement to a friend on the verge of giving up, sharing a bit of your abundance with someone who struggles to make ends meet. Each gesture is a brushstroke of grace on the canvas of humanity, contributing to a broader masterpiece that reflects the glory of a loving Creator. In this way, your personal transformation becomes a testimony, and your testimony becomes an invitation for others to open their own doors to love and prosperity. This is the sacred circle that evolves from one changed life. It sparks a domino effect of healing, hope, and restoration. You do not force anyone to follow your path. You simply live in such a way that others cannot help but see the fingerprints of the divine upon your life. And maybe, just maybe, they'll choose to listen for that knock on their own heart's door, inspired by how willingly you opened yours. Surrendering to this flow does not remove your individuality. Instead, it amplifies the truest form of your self-expression. You remain distinctly you, your sense of humor, your unique talents, your passions. But now these qualities are anointed with purpose. When you speak, your words carry a resonance that stirs souls. When you create, your art vibrates with healing frequencies. When you solve problems, your solutions come laced with a wisdom that transcends standard logic. You realize that you are participating in something far larger than just your personal narrative. You are a co-creator with God, shaping realities that vibrate with compassion and empathy. With this recognition comes a sense of holy reverence for how your choices matter. It's not about perfection, it's about authenticity. You see that every moment is an opportunity to realign with grace. Even if you slip into old patterns, you know that you can instantly pivot back into the arms of love. The door you opened is not easily closed again. Once awakened, your heart yearns for that divine connection more than anything else. This yearning, rather than leading to endless seeking, draws you into deeper levels of finding, because in God you already have all that you need and more. Time starts to feel less linear and more sacred. Hours spent in genuine conversation, in selfless service, or in silent communion seem to stretch, full of meaning and presence. Meanwhile, hours wasted on fear or negativity feel like a drain you no longer wish to indulge. Your priorities adjust organically. The pursuit of worldly status or empty approvals loses its charm when measured against the peace of living in truth. You realize that you can still enjoy the good things of life. A comfortable home, uplifting entertainment, memorable travel. Without being controlled by them, they become enhancements rather than idols. If you glance back at your journey before the door was opened, it might feel like you're looking at a different person. In a sense, you are. The essential you remains, but your spirit has undergone a metamorphosis, shedding layers of doubt and scarcity to reveal a core of boundless love and possibility. Gratitude permeates your being, as you realize that all along you were being guided toward this moment of radical acceptance of divine abundance. Even your painful past starts to make sense as you see how it was molding you for the blessings you carry today. The jigsaw puzzle of your life clicks into place, and a breathtaking picture emerges. A picture where love and prosperity serve as the vibrant colors. It becomes natural to offer a smile to the next stranger, a kind word to the next weary traveler you meet, because you recognize that each person is but one heart opening away from their own miracle. You no longer believe in coincidences. Every connection feels orchestrated. You carry a gentle readiness to be used as an instrument in the symphony of grace. Because you've tasted the sweetness of transformation, you have no greater joy than to see others encounter that same This is love's true essence, never content to remain small, always seeking to expand, to include, to bring healing where it's needed most. This expansion in your life may also spark creativity. Ideas flood your mind. Business ventures, ministry efforts, artistic projects, community outreaches. Some will take root and flourish. Others may be seeds for the future. Instead of being paralyzed by the sheer volume of possibilities, you choose to embrace the ones that resonate most deeply with your spirit. The inner nudge of intuition becomes your compass, and each venture embarked upon in faith feels like an adventure with the divine. Whether you succeed or stumble, you trust that every step is guided, and that each outcome holds a lesson that ultimately adds to your tapestry of grace. In the background, people who once doubted you may observe from a distance. Some will warm up and admit they misjudged. Others might continue to scoff. But their opinions no longer bind you. Secure in the knowledge that your worth and direction come from God, you find yourself less concerned about external validation. This doesn't make you aloof. Rather, it frees you to love without pretense, to show kindness without expecting applause. Love becomes both the journey and the destination, fueling you as you walk and welcoming you when you arrive. And so you advance, day by day, stepping deeper into the life you once thought was only a dream. You notice that certain old habits have faded, replaced by routines that nurture your soul. Maybe you start your mornings with a prayer of gratitude that sets the tone for the rest of the day. Maybe you fill your evenings with reflection and gentle mindfulness, sifting through the day's events to glean wisdom from each encounter. Over time, these daily disciplines become pillars that uphold your sense of wonder and keep your spirit in tune with the heartbeat of divine love. Yet, be prepared for moments when something will try to pull you back into worry, scarcity, or self-sabotage. These moments serve as reminders that growth is ongoing. Instead of panicking or condemning yourself, you can respond with calm assurance. I've opened the door to love and prosperity, and they are here to stay. You simply return to trust, return to gratitude. In doing so, you confirm that your commitment isn't situational, it's foundational. This renewed vow strengthens your spiritual muscles, making each subsequent challenge easier to handle. Over time, you develop a resilience that surprises even you. Slowly, a realization dawns that this journey has never been solely about your own fulfillment. While your happiness and transformation are intrinsically valuable, they are also part of a grander design. The overflow of your heart touches the hearts of those around you, multiplying blessings in countless lives. Like a stone dropped into a still pond, your shift into love and abundance sends ripples across the water, reaching unseen shores. In God's infinite wisdom, every story of renewal is connected to countless other stories still waiting for a breakthrough. In that awareness, your sense of belonging and responsibility expands from your immediate circle to the larger human family. You start to see how each person's awakening contributes to the collective evolution of love on this planet. Even small gestures, like sharing an encouraging word online or offering a helping hand to a stranger, take on cosmic significance. There are no trivial acts in a universe knit together by compassion. Each motion of the heart, each kindness extended, threads into the invisible tapestry uniting all living souls. Beyond the boundaries of your local environment, you may feel drawn to intercede for global issues. Praying for nations ravaged by conflict or disasters, donating to humanitarian efforts, or simply holding the vision of a more unified world. This isn't naive optimism, it's faith in the same power that has revolutionized your personal life. If God can heal your wounds and open doors of abundance for you, that same power can heal nations and mend ancient rifts. You become an ambassador of hope, convinced that no darkness is immune to the penetrating light of divine love. In the hush of certain moments, you might reflect on the magnitude of it all. How one yes to God's knocking ushered in a cascade of miracles. A sense of awe might wash over you, humbling you in the most uplifting way. You recognize that everything is gift, from your next breath to the grandest divine orchestration, and that gratitude is the only fitting response. This humility doesn't make you shrink, it expands your heart, showing you that you're part of a continuous act of co-creation, a dance between human willingness and divine providence. As your life vibrates with this new frequency, unseen battles may rage around you. Spiritual warfare is real, especially for those who stand as beacons of possibility. Yet you do not fear. You have tasted the victory that comes not from might or intellect, but from resting in the one whose power is limitless. Your armor is love, your shield is faith, and your sword is truth. And though you may sometimes feel weary, you never feel alone. Legions of angels, both seen and unseen, rally to the side of anyone who carries the banner of compassion and unity. You find that even the concept of time changes for you. Instead of feeling harried by rushing hours, you begin to notice the fullness contained in each moment. You become more present, more alive, more in tune with the subtle cues of the divine voice. Stressful deadlines turn into invitations to trust. Long waits transform into incubators for deeper wisdom. You begin to realize that the journey itself holds as much richness as any destination. The lines between the sacred and the ordinary blur, and you see that the entire landscape of your life is pulsing with divine significance. And so, dear soul, you press on, each step illuminated by a grace that refuses to be dimmed by circumstance. Love and prosperity are no longer strangers knocking, they are beloved companions by your side. The journey is not about never stumbling, it's about knowing how to rise quickly and continue forward, fueled by a source that never runs dry. You greet each sunrise with expectancy, each sunset with gratitude, fully convinced that tomorrow will bring new wonders because your heart remains open, your door remains unlocked.